Okay, I got most of it put all together. It's probably like 95-ish% done. All we really need to do is put the silver cap on you, the centerpiece and center panel, and I powered you up, and everything was completely silent and quiet. This guy, however, I did try something. These are the Chromax. I did want to mention the Chromax. I'm grabbing something here. These black, this black fan here, the black Noctua, is the Chromax, and they're actually pretty nice. It's worth a mention on its own, where they have these tiny little stubs. So let me go ahead and pull it out. I've already decoupled it from the fan, and I'm pulling it out right now. And if you look, they have this tiny little shorty. Focus. They have a little shorty right here, and that's really nice for the builds, where you can kind of determine where you want it to go. I did learn an important lesson that they have this thing called if I can find it real quick. I originally put this in there, so here we go. They have this thing called a low noise adapter. I didn't actually read the label. I tend to cut them off, and I just cut it off and put it on already. And I installed it here because it's the perfect length to get down into this little, where there's currently there's already one occupied, but I had this right there and connected it right there to the fan, and that was like the perfect length. It was like, yes! And then I noticed another one that said, oh wait, that's a low noise adapter. Apparently there's a resistor in here that slows it down so you won't get max fan speed. And I'm not yet to the point where I want to cut down on the fan speed. I haven't even powered the thing up yet. But the Chromax has these they're neat, where they have these, they really thought them through. They have this little short stubby, and they have a huge extension cord, which is, I don't know if it's actually maybe their standard length or not. There we go. This is the NAEC1. It's probably the same length then as this NAEC1, holding them together. Yeah, they're the same length. The ones that are folded up are the same length as this one. But what they also have are these color matched. They have yellow, green, red, blue corner pads for you to stick up in. Oh, this is the 120. I got to get the 120 pads out, but these are the 90mm pads, so they don't look like they fit. But the 120 pads will. Well, I put this fan underneath the Black Ridge and powered it up, and it was rubbing. So let me focus on maybe back in there. There we go. And it was rubbing up inside of there. When I powered it up, it heard this, and I probably could have left it, and maybe the fan would have worn a bit, but that's fine. I decided I'm going to try to take it out, pull it out, and do a swap without having to lift the heatsink off of the CPU. So I just try to do a little servicing here without removing it. It's going to be a little tricky because I got to get these little retention rods. I think you can see one right here, and the other one's on the other side. They're real tricky to get in and out, so we'll see what I can do. So yeah, the point of this video is be careful with these Black Ridges and these Noctua Chromax, in that you probably do want to put in those rubber pads to give it a little bit of spacing. I did, when it was powered on, I just grabbed my finger in here and I just pulled it down just less than a millimeter, and it stopped rubbing. So something in the way this is designed, you can see there's a little ridge for the memory here, and I think that they were tight enough, or things were pushing enough, that the fan blade is unprotected on this side, and it was rubbing against the heatsink right in that little corner ridge spot right there. If I'm trying to focus on it, there we go. That little corner ridge spot all the way down. It goes all the way down that spot. So that's where I think the fan was rubbing. So You do want to, I thought I would try not using the pads and get a real tight fit and no need for the rubber spacers, but apparently you, if you do that, you're going to get some rubbing. So definitely put the rubber spacers on the Chromax Noctuas when you're using the Black Ridge. And then you won't have to do what I'm doing, which is servicing it in place. So anyway, really close to getting both these builds done. I'm going to take pictures afterwards. I wanted to get them powered up and see that they're working and everything first, and then I will take some pictures of them. The cabling is definitely pretty tight. This one came out pretty well. The black cables are actually a slighter thicker thickness than the silver cables. These are a lot more malleable or pliable or bendable than the black cables. Even though they feel like they're about the same dimension, I think the material they're made out of is a little bit stiffer, so it doesn't look as elegant right here in this power supply. If I were to show you the power supply side of this, it's actually pretty elegant. Not really elegant, but it's not a embarrassingly hideous bend like this right here. And this is a candidate to swap out and bend it. However, I haven't decided yet whether I want to keep this. I'm rambling here, but I'm trying the power supply flipped like this because of Dan's recommendation. Because the theory is that as it sucks in cool air, up here it would have sucked in cool air and blown it out the top. Here it's going to suck in hot air from the GPU area, not from the GPU itself, because the GPU is trying to suck air that way and the power supply is trying to suck air that way. So they're both sucking air in opposing directions, which is going to create a vacuum, which hopefully the Chromax, the fan on the bottom, is blowing fresh cool air onto the through the bottom and up towards the camera, and hopefully it will supply the GPU with a supply of fresh air. Meanwhile, the motherboard fan right here is blowing cool air up into the motherboard and the Black Ridge, and it's not going to, you can't really see it too much, but if you look down in there with the way that these PCI extension cables now curve back towards the GPU, there's no real air that's going to flow from that fan towards the GPU. That'll be a little bit, but I think it's over 50% blockage on that connection down there. Anyway, the main point of this video is lesson learned. Save yourself some time. Put those rubber pads in when putting this Noctua Chromax 120 on the Black Ridge. And here's let's see if I can find the 120 pads. They actually all look the same. Oh, I think they're still in a box. My 120 pads are still in here, so I'll have to pull those out. So yeah, do it. Put the pads on. Thanks for watching. The obligatory like and subscribe. Help a guy out. Thanks.